Greetings, YouTube. Last Saturday night, my wife and I got a chance to watch the movie Predators, the sequel to Predator and Predator 2 that takes place in the Predator universe and really doesn't have anything to do with the Alien Predator storyline. Now, I, like every other geek of my era, loved the movie Predator. Arnold Schwarzenegger was wonderful as the big, overly muscled mercenary, and his team of crack soldiers was entertaining, if more than just a little absurd. And it was just a wonderful time of overblown action and some fairly decent science fiction themes. And one of the things that I think that many people identify with it so easily is that almost every single person in that film was sympathetic. You related to them. They were a team of mercenaries, but they were a team of mercenaries on a rescue mission. They were the good guys. They were there to try to save someone and bring them home. Then came Predator 2. This took place in LA during a faux pseudo-future period. I think we've passed that point in actual time. And a number of the people that the Predators were hunting were drug dealers. Not all that sympathetic. But you had Danny Glover playing a cop, doing his best in a bad situation. So again, you had someone on screen to sympathize with. And while it wasn't as good as Predator, it was still a great time. I enjoyed it. I've seen it many times. I like Danny Glover, and I think he did an excellent job in that role. And then we have Predators. The storyline has changed slightly, and I am going to spoil this film for anyone who has not seen it, so be aware of this. But in this time, the aliens have plucked 7 individuals from Earth and dumped them onto a planet. Now, they've done this so that they can see how these 7 individuals will come together or not come together as a unit, and then they're going to hunt them. I believe the ratio is 3 predators to the unit that they assembled. And none of the people in this group are sympathetic. The main character, played by Adrian Brody, is a mercenary, unspecified variety, but he kills people for a living, and he does it because he likes to. Then we have a sniper, potentially sympathetic, and the most sympathetic character of the entire group. We have a drug cartel enforcer. We have a religious zealot that works for a death squad. We have a guy on death row who likes to rape and murder people. We have a doctor who's a serial killer, and then we have a Spetsnaz Russian. These are not sympathetic people. Now, I'm going to ask a question of anyone who's seen this movie. Everyone who was surprised when the doctor ended up being a bad guy, raise your hand. Hey, I don't see any hands. You weren't surprised that the doctor was a serial killer, now were you? Because everyone else in that team was a cold-blooded killer. What a shock. So was he. I mean, he's walking through the jungle, and he whips a scalpel out. How many doctors do you know carry a scalpel? I have a doctor and 2 nurses in my family. None of them carry a scalpel. So yes, that should have been an indication to people that something was really, really wrong with this guy. And the fact that they fell for it was kind of silly. Now, the actual storyline itself, I thought it was a solid action film. It looked good. A lot of the footage was done in Hawaii, so you had a very authentic jungle theme. The weapons technology, by and large, was great. I loved Adrian Brody. Brody was carrying an AA-12, fully automatic shotgun. Those things are awesome. The Russian was carrying a minigun. Now, the minigun was in the first movie, and it was silly in the first movie, and it's silly now. In fact, it's even more silly now, because now we know, because of the first movie, how silly the minigun is. A man-portable pack will only provide enough ammo for that minigun for about 2 seconds. And then it's going to be empty. And then it's just dead weight. That was silly in 87, and it's silly in 2010. I find it interesting that the death row inmate never got a gun. He only had a shiv. That kind of made me smile. Then again, the doctor never had a gun either, but he didn't need to, because he really wasn't into upfront and kind of combat. He was into incapacitating people so he could then torture them to death. He wasn't the best pick, in my mind, by the Predators. And how did they just pick these people up? Is there some vast Predator network where they stalk killers all over the planet? I think the credibility has gotten a little thin so far. But I had a good time. There were silly things about it. It made no sense. The ending was a fight scene. At no point did I ever feel a connection to these characters. Lawrence Fishburne was on screen for about 10 minutes, and his character was not developed enough to make any sense, and I didn't feel any sympathy for him. The relationship near the end between Adrian Brody's character and one of the aliens was not developed, and I felt no connection there either. So there was a whole bunch of missed opportunities. Oh, I forgot. There was a Yakuza in the group who just so happened to find a katana. What a shocker. I want to know, why does a Yakuza know how to use a katana? How many mafia members in New York fence? It didn't make a lot of sense to me. Yeah, it's cool and all, but very unlikely. Yakuza are hired thugs. They're modern, organized crime. They use guns. They beat people. They don't take a lot of time training in swordsmanship. But that's just me. So it was okay. And if I get an opportunity to watch it with commentary, I probably will. I enjoyed Danny Trejo here. He was always a lot of fun. I think everybody who did the best they could with the roles they had. And Adrian Brody was a unique choice for an action hero, and I think he did a very good job. At the last scenes, he's standing there, bare-chested. He put 25 pounds of muscle on in this film, and he really looked the role. He did an excellent job. And my wife enjoyed the eye candy. So, overall, it wasn't a bad time. I just don't think it was the best film I've ever seen.